Hi everyone, this is Gayle. I know a lot of you have ScanNCuts or have bought ScanNCut machines and either don't know how to use it or you only use it for cutting out certain things. But I asked Richard if it was okay if I gave some tutorials on the ScanNCut because I have really learned a lot from some other people that I've been watching on since the pandemic and looking for things to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the camera and I'm going to go to a screenshot of my computer screen and walk you through from the very beginning. I want to start with how you get your Canvas Workspace. I just have heard some questions that people have asked about how to do certain things, and it makes it sound like that they're not using the Canvas Workspace. They're only cutting out digitals by doing a scan and cut, which is what the machine is called. But there's so many things you can do to manipulate your files, and it's easier for me to show you on my computer screen than it is on, verbally or on camera. As you can see, this is my dog Ellie. She's keeping me company this morning. She's behind me on the love seat, and my cat is beginning to talk because I'm talking, he decided he wanted to talk, so I got a little distracted. But anyway, I just think there's so many things you can do with the ScanNCut that a lot of people are not aware of. Now, if you have your ScanNCut and you use those Canvas Workspace and you're fine with it, please, you don't need to watch this video. But I'm going to try to start at the very beginning. So if I knew absolutely nothing about this machine, I would be able to show you how to get it up and running and the different things you can do. So I'm going to switch the camera and I'll be right back. Okay. The first thing you need to do, once you've taken your ScanNCut out of the box, you've plugged it in, and you're ready to go and don't know what else to do, is to go to the Brother website. So you would just go up to your, excuse all of my searches, but just do brother.com. Comes up to brotherusa.com, which is what you want. And then we want for home. We want to go to products, electronic cutting machines, and we want Canvas Workspace. So this is the screen that comes up. It says to either register or log in, and I'm already registered, so I checked a little while ago. I'm not able to try to register again, but let me just see if I can get in and show you at least what to look for. You would click register, and it has, all the instructions, the procedure. You have to agree to some terms, which most people do, and you just put I agree and register. And you will probably need your machine's, maybe a serial number. You have to literally register your machine with Brother. But I'm going to just log in since I already have an account. And this is what comes up. Now, you'll almost always see this sign that says the PC version of Canvas Workspace has been upgraded. I've already upgraded that, so I don't need to do this again. And if you don't want to see it anymore after you upgrade, if you want to click this box here that says do not ask me again, then that would be fine. But anyway, what you would do to download, to get into Canvas Workspace would be to click this download button. And you would click that. You'll come up to a page that has all the different machines on it. I have a CM350, so I'm going to click CM350. Then you check whether you want the Windows or Mac version. I have Windows 10, or they have an option for Windows 8.1 and Windows 7. Then you would click OK, and you would go through the normal download process, or registration process. But this will download it onto your computer, which is the version I prefer. But since I'm already registered and already have it on my, let me go back to Brother. We'll go to Products again. Sorry, I shouldn't have gone back this far. I'm going to just close this. See, there's my name, so it shows you that I've already registered. And these are projects that come up. And there are hundreds of projects. I mean, just hundreds. And you can see as you scroll down, more get added to the bottom. And it's just anything you would want. And you can do a search on the online version, which is what this is. You could do a search and you could put, say, spring. Click OK. And those are the only two things that come up for spring. So if you come back here and you clear this and put Easter, since that's the next big holiday, you'll get these Easter projects that come up. There's a cake topper, an Easter basket, a pop-up card, Easter chick gift wrapping. I guess that's to make a little box for you to put some treats in. Here's another card. Just, you can see, just there's a garland. There's so many things you can do. And one reason, say if I decided I wanted to do this cupcake wrapper. Down here it shows you these are the two files that you'll get. You'll see it's got a number 000151A and 151B. This is A is the little bunny rabbit shapes and the picket fence, and B are all the little things that you would put on it to, you know, like here it's got the green egg and a green bow tie. This one's got a red egg. The pink is for the, you know, you got the pink for the ears, little things like that. Then what you would do is look at your get recipe. And this tells you what you need. You need 5 different kinds of cardstock, toothpicks, glue. And there it shows you a little bit bigger the files. But it tells you, there's step-by-step instructions. Glue B1 on top of A2. Well, B1 is this, and A2 is the bunny. So you're going to put the pink on his ears. And you just follow the directions. I don't want to download that, but anyway, that's the get recipe. Or you can say download all parts, and it'll download all of these as a zip file that you can put on your computer. And I just wanted you to be aware that there's so many things on here. You could even search for cards. I probably shouldn't have put the S on it. Let me do that again and take the S off, because it's in here as card. All right, there's a butterfly cutout card. There's some pop-up cards, a bouquet card for birthdays. You know, those are just cards. And again, as you scroll down, more get added because there's so many in here. So this is the Canvas Workspace online. And let me get rid of some of these things. But if you click the download that we did a little while ago on the previous screen, if you go into your files, into your downloads folder or wherever you downloaded it, I have mine here, and there's my Canvas Workspace. And it's going to come up on my computer. Now, the reason I prefer this is because Canvas Workspace on your computer will allow you to use all the fonts that are on your computer. Whereas if you use the online version, you're restricted a little bit. Let me see if I can show you. Let me get back in here. Say I'm going to start a new project. And I just want to do words or logo text. Say I'm going to do text. That's right. That's what these are. So these are the only fonts that are available, are the ones that are right here. On my computer version, let me get rid of this. You can just close that out. This opens up automatically. But on the computer version, if you put text, I've got all of these fonts that are available. So that's the main reason I like using the online version. I mean, the computer version. But just look at all of the different, So that's one reason I like it. But say you're cutting out one of Richard's files and you want to put it on a scalloped border. Let me go back to the shapes on this, and it says shapes, and your shapes things come back. Rather than having all the shapes grouped together like they were on the online version, these are divided by the type of shapes. See how many different shapes? And if I want a scallop, I might pick this one. And there it is. Now, if you go over here to this little, I'm sorry that you can't see this. I didn't realize I was not wide enough to see this, but this little box, the second little box over here, if you click that, that's your edit button, but it also tells you a lot of information. It shows you that it's 3.94 inches wide and 3.94 inches high. And it's because this maintain aspect ratio is on. But you can make it bigger. You can make it smaller. And I really would like this to be maybe 3 inches. And if I put 3 in there and hit enter, it comes back, to that. If you, for some reason, which I don't know why you would, at least not with a scallop, but say, let me put a square on here. You just move it with your mouse. But I've got maintain aspect ratio, which means that when I do this, it's always going to be a square. But what if I wanted to make it just a little bit longer? I don't really want a long rectangle like this, but I want just a little bit longer. You unclick maintain aspect ratio, and now you can make this as long or as short as you want, or as wide or narrow as you want. So that's another thing you can do. Sorry, I highlighted something and shouldn't have. But and then say you want you're making a bunch of cards. You're making Christmas cards, and you want 25 of these. You can't get 25 on this, but you right-click, duplicate, right-click, duplicate. Now what I do is I would go ahead and print 3. Well, no, if you're using the cardstock, you can't do that. And the reason is this is a 12 by 12 mat. This is the size of your mat that comes with your machine. But your paper is only going to be 8.5 by 11. That's another thing that really you need to do. This is something, and one thing I don't like about this, you hit display, down here, show ruler. Now you can see the ruler. If it might help you a little bit, you could put a triangle on there and make it, not a triangle, that's a square. Make it 8.5 by 11, which is the size of your paper. Then that's the size. So you can see you can't get 3, out of your 8.5 by 11 paper. I'm sorry, my throat's getting scratchy. But you can, and you have to move the rectangle out of the way. But you can leave the square over here and just move it back to see if you're within that 8.5 by 11. Now see there I got 4. And what I would do here is highlight all of them just by pressing down your mouse button and running your mouse over it. Always see that little cross, that little two-way arrow thing that's up there? You have to make sure that you see that, because see down here, you don't. If I click here and do something, it's not going to do anything. But if I go up there anywhere that's where I can see the little crosshatch, right click, duplicate, then I've duplicated this. So now I've got 8, but is it going to be more than 11 inches? Yes, it is, just a little bit. So what you can do is manipulate this just a little, make the screen a little bit larger. Get that as close as you can. Sorry, I'm kind of doing this the long way, but I want to make sure you understand what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to go back down a little bit. There's my rectangle right here. And see now all 8 of them are fitting in my 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So I know that I can do that. What I would do is I would move this out. Actually, I have to get rid of it. I'll get rid of the rectangle. I don't know why I want to keep calling it a triangle. I go up here to File. I'm going to Save As. And I have so many files on here, but I'm going to just click Canvas. And down here it says Untitled, and I'm just going to put scallops. Actually, I'm going to put 3 inch scallops. You see the type of file that it is? This is when you're saving it on your computer. This is the only file, if you look over here, it's the only type of file it will save. And this is a Canvas Workspace project file. So I can save. The File name is not valid. Oh, because I put inch. You can't use certain figures in your file name. So I put 3" and I'll just save it. Now, if you have some type of a device, a thumb drive is what I call them. The USB drive, the little thumb things that you stick into your computer to save files on. What you would do is go File and Export. And here it says Export FCM file. Well, that's what this is a cut file. So what you would do is export this FCM file to your thumb drive. If I do that, I don't have my thumb drive in here, but I do have a not a SIM card, a memory card. But you would do that, and just save it there. I want to cancel because I really don't want it on that drive. Here's another one, transfer FCM file via the internet. Now, some of the ScanNCuts come already set up for internet access. Others you have to buy a card for. I had to buy a card. But if I hit this via the internet, it says the registered machine is ready to download the transferred file from the internet. I would just click OK, and it would go directly to my ScanNCut. And it would be in the you go to patterns, and then it would show, you could see where it was being downloaded. I'll show you that when I get to the machine. But that is how you could take this, and then you would just put your white or blue or brown or black, whatever color scallop you want, cardstock onto your mat, run it through. You don't have to scan it. You just load it in, and then you would click your button to print. Just press cut, and it would print. It would cut right on these lines. So that would be one good thing. You don't see the black. There's no black on there. It's not going to print ink. It's only going to cut. So it's going to cut on these lines, and you would have 8 of the 3" scallops. So that's one thing you can do just with the shapes here. You can build things with them. You could, up here I'm going to edit, select all, and hit the delete button. Even though it still says 3" scallops up here. Actually, what I think I'm going to do is File, New. And I don't want to save. So now that way it goes back to an untitled file. But you can take like this and make it into a little, and I would take that and make a head out of it maybe. You could take a circle, but I kind of like that little. And then you could take a rectangle and just showing you how you could make your own things. And duplicate. Oops. I didn't mean to do that, which is easy. You can just click the undo button. It takes it right back to what it was before. So now I have these two, and what you can do, and it has to be highlighted. You can come over here to the angle, and put 45 degrees. And that makes this little thing. And we're going to make this his arm. It's got a long arm. Let's make it a little bit shorter. And this one will do the same thing at 45 degrees. Hit enter. But we want it going the other way. So what I would do is flip it by clicking this here, flip. And you see I'm putting these corners inside the little box. Let me make this about the same size. And let's see, what shape should I use? Maybe they got a shape down here I'd want to use for his legs. I haven't used these shapes down here much because they're really not much use to me for the things I have done. I don't think so. So let's do another rectangle. I'm not going to make it that long. That looks long enough. Duplicate. Move it over. And I'm going to put this one here. And that one there. And you see we've made a little man. But all these lines are kind of intersecting. Actually, we want this to intersect just a little bit. So what you would do, you can either highlight this way, or you can go up here to Edit, Select All. And if you go further down on this side over here, you see these little icons. This one says Weld. And what that's going to do, I'll click Weld. See where all those overlaps, except for this one. This one must not have been up far enough. But see all of the overlaps. So now the only thing, and this isn't very straight, but the only thing that would cut would be these outside things. So you can make your own shapes if you want. So this is something that I don't know that you would be interested in. I never have been. Anyway, that's just getting you used to some of these things. So let me put in, let me put another rectangle on here. And another one. Another one. Let's see, we've got these 3 rectangles now. All right, we've got some options. These are the things that you use to align. You can align them all to the left, which isn't what we want. You can align them all to the top, which is better. You could center them, and that's not what we want. Anyway, this is just to show you these little buttons over here. So let's see what they're good for. Say, all right, I've got this box. I'm going to type a text here, and I'm just going to put text. All right, and I'm going to put it up in that box. And they said, how in the world am I going to get that in the middle? Well, that would be easy. You would highlight all of them. You would want to center them in the middle, and you would want to center them in the middle up and down. So now that word text is set perfectly inside that box. And I just thought that was a fun thing to do. You can also use it like if you got two of these and you want them to be the same, you would do the same thing. You would well, we wouldn't do it with the text. Take that out. But see how they're not straight, but you could highlight both of them and you could align them to the top. And now you know that they're evenly spaced this way. It's not so easy to get them evenly spaced that way. There's an option up here, but it's a little bit more complicated. But that helps a lot in just getting things to where they're even. Let's see what else is on here that might be interesting to you right now. When you're in text, this is already typed in Antique Oakland, but say I want it in something a little bit fancier. See, it changes it automatically. If you don't like that one, go, I like that one. See, that's nice. But let me find one where it's going to overlap. Make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. But see how these lines overlap? What you need to do is come back down to this. I don't know, with that T being separate, I don't know what it's going to do, but let me see. All right, that worked fine. I clicked this, which is weld, and see how all those little lines disappeared. So now when you cut it out, this EXT is going to all be one piece, and your T will be another piece, and then you transfer it to whatever. If you're using vinyl, you use transfer tape, but that's something I'll get into later. So that's some of the basics as far as just showing you this. Let me go back to the first page. The first page is where you make sure this is where you have either your cut or your draw line. You always want to keep it on cut unless you're using a pen in there. You can change the line. Say I want this rectangle. This is showing that it's a solid line. What if I wanted a perforated line? Let me make it a little bit bigger so you can see. Now you can see the line is perforated. This is what a lot of people use when they're cutting something and there's a fold line or someplace you would score. I usually use this one for a score. And it just puts little dots in it. And so then when you go to fold it, it's easier to fold. But that's how you would put a score line in there. And we'll go over that at a later time. You see, it keeps the last font that you used. But here it would have the name of the font, whether it's regular, you can change it to oblique. It's sort of like an italic. You change it to bold. And bold oblique. So you can change all this. I'll just keep it on regular unless I want to change something. But anyway, this is some of the things that you can do. I'm going to pause this. I'm not going to pause. I'm going to end this video. And the next one, I'm going to be bringing in one of Richard's files, and we'll play with that. So, stay tuned if you want to learn a little bit more about your Canvas Workspace and about your ScanNCut. And I will be back soon with another video. Thanks.